It is March 9th, 2020, and we just had a BNR announcement happen. There was an announcement for the announcement a week ago, and it has dropped. A lot of people had a lot of speculation about what was going to be banned, and most everyone was wrong. Jake, are you ready to talk about these cards?
Well, I can tell you Pioneer suffered no casualties. Let's get into it. The video starts right now.
Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below.
Make sure to stick around to the end of the video. We're going to give you a couple finance tips related to Pioneer. Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. BNR in March 2020. Time to discuss it. But first, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button down there, it really helps us out.
Best way to support the channel as we continue to grow. Let's go ahead and talk about the bans.
Let's jump over to the cards. So we had bans in Brawl, Historic, Legacy, and Modern. Our Brawl ban was Golos. Look, I'm going to speak as the resident Brawl expert here. Jake has no interest in the format. He actually goes whenever I bring it up. Brawl was suffering from a Golos problem. Golos was too consistent. It was consistently ramp, get Golos on turn 3, 4, 5, go get Field of the Dead, start playing other things. It was just too oppressive. Then you're very simply able to hit that 7 mana ability to get 3 free cards. It was just, this was a plague on Brawl. Every time I saw it across the table from me, it was just an eye roll and like okay, sure, sounds good. You know this is banned. This is broken and going to get banned at some point if they're watching the format. And that's all I really have to say.
I do remember you talking to me about it, and you were like, man, it does suck when you see Golos and you go, oh, well, it's, you know, I'm just not playing the best deck. That's obviously the best choice.
I built this deck for fun because it's a singleton format, and it's supposed to, you know, this is my, like, tribal enchantments or some kind of singleton deck that's supposed to be fun. Regardless, what this shows me is that Wizards of the Coast is keeping an active eye on Brawl, which I appreciate. I honestly thought Brawl, they were just trying to they shut it in a room where it was 10,000 gold to get into that room, and every time there was a peep out of the room, they were like, quiet in there. But now it seems like they are trying to make sure that only people on the up and up are coming to the party. Robot scouts in this instance are no longer allowed. That's really all there is to say about Golos. Jake, you got any other last tips or things?
I was just impressed that you compared Golos or Brawl kind of to Harry Potter.
What?
Well, because you said that they would hide it away in a cabinet, and if it ever made any noise, then it would be like quiet in there. But also, Brawl is an extraordinary format that's actually really good, but it gets no support. Much like Harry Potter, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, I was going to say,
extraordinary
have you only read the first 2 chapters of Harry Potter? Is that what's happening right now? We're finding that out?
All I'm saying is that I know that he's a very humble wizard, and by the end of the book series, they have decided to name the books after him. That's what I know about.
Got it. Welcome back to Jake and Joel, our Harry Potter. We had 3 bans in Historic, and honestly, these surprised no one. Oko, Thief of Crowns, Once Upon a Time, and everyone's favorite shut down all the other black and blue strategies card, Veil of Summer. Jake, does it...
And that's all we have to say about that.
Yeah, is it a shocker that banned cards from formats that were faster moving than Historic also got banned in Historic?
I will take no for 1,000.
Well, make sure you think about it and how much you're willing to wager. We did with Field of the Dead, they moved this one from suspended, which was a historic thing and not really used, I don't think, in any other format, to legal now. So Field of the Dead is back on the table for
I wonder if there's any correlation to this card in Golos.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Legacy had Underworld Breach banned. I don't play a lot of Legacy. I did see 2 different camps form on Twitter today about Underworld Breach. One was that the format was not given enough time to breathe naturally evolve and
that's
find
what we
an answer
say.
to it.
That's always our biggest complaint about the bans, is that they're premature. And yes, I agree with that. I didn't read this. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. So if you're looking for a natural reaction, this is it. And I completely agree. It wasn't given enough time.
The other camp was they more claimed to be entrenched legacy players. And those players were very outspoken about how Underworld Breach was a plague on the format, and they are very, very excited that it is no longer in the format. However, those were the same players that said, it sucks that I just spent a ton of money to stay competitive for the past month since Theros Beyond Death has come out, and suddenly, just like that card value's gone.
That's tough. We live in a time in the MTG community where you have a lot of people. We live in this society where people can be very outspoken about how they feel about certain things, and there becomes this necessity to answer those cries and those problems. And maybe it was premature. I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't play a lot of Legacy, but I know what happens in Legacy. You have a lot of powerful spells like Brainstorm and Force of Will that throw cards into the yard and counter spells, and it really is like who wins the counter stack a lot of the time is who ends up winning the Legacy battle, I would say the game. And this card just being able to give all of these cards, when you're filling up a graveyard super fast, like to be able to give them all escape and now you're playing them again, it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot, and I could see it being busted.
Absolutely. We already showed Once Upon a Time here. I'm going to scoot back to it because that was our other banning, is that in Modern, they have now dealt away with Once Upon a Time.
Again, I'm not surprised. This is one of those, hey, free spells are good. Yeah. Like Jataxian Probe. This is just one of those cards that had to get the axe. Again, it kind of like goes back to Threat of Eldraine. All of these cards that were like really, really pushed, Oko and Once Upon a Time, cards that really sold packs are now like pretty much banned across the board in all these different various formats. Again, the Veil of Summer, this is one of those cards that was just like, it's a green Cryptic Command. Right. It's just like for one green, you're getting all of the effects of Cryptic Command in a lot of situations. It's just really, really, really good.
As far as reactions from my side on the BNR, it was a little shocking that Dimir Inverter in Pioneer didn't take any kind of hit. Cards like Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise have been at the top of people's watch lists for a while. That deck, for about 2 weeks, a week ago-ish, was very dominant. I have been watching the top 8 lists coming out of Pioneer Leagues and coming out of various paper tournaments, however, and the format is not, you don't see 6 copies of Dimir Inverter in the top 8 anymore, I think that with more time, let the format breathe, and we will hopefully just settle out into a very, very strong, healthy meta. I'm not saying that Dimir Inverter won't be powered down. I was definitely one rushing to the exit door on my dig through times last week, but they want to give it more time to breathe out, and they've said specifically that we're probably not going to have any kind of more bans or anything with Pioneer until late April. So this is going to be what we're rolling with for the next roughly 6 to 8 weeks.
So earlier today, we told you we were going to give you a little finance tip about Pioneer, and that's really what it is, what Joel was just talking about, that right now is a good time to get in on Pioneer deck if you're looking for a deck, or if you want to play, or if you've been on the fence because you're like, man, there's been so many bannings. This article, and you should go ahead and read it, and we're going to link it in the description if you're interested in it. You can read, it really does sound encouraging from Wizards of the Coast that they're happy with where Pioneer is. So if you're looking to invest, if you're looking to get in, now is the time.
Let us know if you lost any money on these bans. Let us know if you are upset or happy about the bannings. Overall, I think the reception of this one has been pretty positive. I think the more negative reception actually was last week when they announced the announcement and didn't just come out and say, hey, whoops, surprise, BNR, here it is, here are the banned cards, let's rock and roll. Because essentially, there are some tournament structures that for like the next week why spend any money on cards? Why even play? Just wait and see if your favorite deck is going to get axed. And, honestly, it's a good time to exit. We appreciate you watching. If you wouldn't mind going down there, hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button, it really helps us out. Helps guide us on our content creation journey. When you hit that like button, lets us know that you like the video, and we will make more of that type. If you want to support us further, we got a Patreon link is down in the description below if you want to hang out. We're streaming twice weekly over on Twitch. Jake, I got through it fast. I'm tapped out.
You did the whole thing, man. You did a great job, and I'm impressed, and we're going to see how it goes.